So namaste and welcome back, beginner yogis, and thank you for coming back. I'm glad I didn't scare you off. Thank you for coming back. Hopefully you've had a chance both to sort of think through what we did last week and maybe do it on record as well, repeat it again. If you didn't, don't worry, we'll still be working on it, but you'll have those videos available to you for 10 days after the end of this course, okay? So let's start by taking a comfortable seat. Take a comfortable seat. Now, I suggest that you take a pillow and either you're kneeling like me and sit, okay? Or you can take a cross-legged seat. Okay, and today we're going to, again, do you remember we start with that centering and breath work, then we move, then we'll meditate and relax, okay? So bring your hands to your knees or wherever you're seated. And once again, like last week, think about having both your sit bones plugged in, but take your shoulders back over your pelvis and your skull back over your shoulders. So you've got this lovely line. So your lower back should be drawn in. All right, and if you have got any sense of, oh my goodness, I don't know whether I can do this, I'm worried about the class, let that go, because remember, do you remember child's pose? You can come to child's pose whenever you want to, and you know, you're on recording, you could pause me as well if you want to. That's one of the beauties actually of doing yoga at home on your own. Okay, so take a breath, draw your shoulders back. We're going to settle in once again to a natural breath like we did last week. So take a deep breath in through both nostrils and a long breath out. Remembering you're not trying so hard that you'll end up sort of screwing up your face, but you are more than just sort of sipping your breath in. You're actually trying softly. In and out. And this is actually a form of meditation, this focus or awareness of your breath in and out. Because simply by resting your attention there, it begins to slow it and ease it off. And something that can remind us of our breath more is to hear your breath as well. So you can try this. Try toning the back of your throat. You do this by imagining that you're trying to whisper across the room to someone. So imagine you're trying to whisper, and that tone at the back of your throat, that's how you want to breathe. Okay, so whisper. You can pretend to whisper to me. Go, hello Sarah. And then breathe. Close your mouth. And you can hear your breath. Like the waves of a sea can bring you into, it can be quite hypnotic. And it's this audible reminder of your breath, and also it adds more physicality to it because you'll hear it, feel it more at your throat. Once again though, don't over try, don't force it. It's this idea of trying softly. In and out. Feel the wave. Take a couple of breaths like this. Gentle inhale, gentle exhale. Hear your breath. And the sound Om is a vibration. It tunes in again to this vibration of you, because you are a pulse, a vibration. So it's nothing woo-woo, nothing to be scared of. And if you'd like to join me for an Om, you can, but if it makes you feel slightly uncomfortable, you don't have to. We'll do one Om, and I'll sing a round of the Anusara invocation as well for you. So sitting here in great ease, Join me, bring your hands to prayer, welcoming yourself to the mat. Take a deep breath in. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Take a full breath in, and using the sound and the physicality to connect in today. It's like giving yourself a hug coming to yoga, an act of self-love, self-remembrance. Okay, inhale, open your eyes. Exhale, release your hands, and you can keep whatever you've got underneath your bottom as you extend your legs long now. Okay, so as you extend your legs long, notice how there's this tendency to just sort of let your legs flop to the side. We're going to engage now some muscular energy today. So as you do this, turn your toes up. If you've got your magic lines on, those magic lines will be lined up with your shins and your kneecaps and the tops of your thighs. Okay, and then flex your toes towards your face, just like we did last week when we were standing. Spread your monkey toes, and you'll start to feel muscles kind of hug in on the bones. You're giving your muscles are giving a hug. So even just sitting here, your muscles start to turn on. Press your fingertips into the mat as well. Breathe into the side body like we did last week, shoulders back, and then lift your chin, flex your toes. And even in this quite simple pose, feel that a sense of strength in your legs. You can take your legs a little bit wider and give them a tiny little bend. Inhale, use that as a chance to lengthen up your spine. And then exhale, let's bring the spine forward and down. A version of Paschimottanasana. As I said, you're going to be learning a language, Sanskrit, as well in this course. Okay, inhale, come on up. So we scoot the bottom forward, lengthen your legs. We always try to get some rotations of the spine. So pop your cushion to the side, lie your way down. Okay, and then reach your arms up overhead. Give yourself a stretch. Interlink your fingers, flip your palms up and over your head, and still keep your toes flexed. So if you lift your face up, you can still see all 10 toes working nicely for you. We're going to do something now called a banana. So take your feet right off to the right side of your mat. Leave your body and bum where it is. But then take your arms to the same side. So you're kind of creating a crescent moon shape. Hopefully you've got space. I'm a bit crammed here. So keep flexing your feet. And then you should feel from your hip all the way up the side waist there, up to your left armpit. You get a little bit more opening. So bananaing the spine off to the right there. Lovely. And then bring the feet back to center, the arms back to center. Pause. And we'll go the other side. So take your legs off to the left. And then bring your arms in the same direction. So it's tempting, especially when we're lying down, to let everything relax off. But, you know, I've been kind to you laying you down. So give it what you can, put what you can into it, and breathe through your right side. So good for you. Take one more breath. Super. And then again, bring your heels back to center and your arms back to center. Give yourself another stretch on up. Lovely. And then bring your hands down beside you, and you're going to bend your knees and bring them into your chest. So now curl on in. Bring your hands to both knees, curl it up and squeeze in. So you're squeezing your legs together and also bringing your head and forehead up. So we squeeze everything into a focal point. In this pose, it's in your pelvis, skin to bone, and hug into a midline, into that focal point. One more breath. Now keep squeezed in, but lower your head and shoulders down. Leave your right hand on your knees and stretch your left arm out to the side. Now if you're a bit cramped for space, you can bend that elbow, but try and keep the shoulder blade on the mat. And with your right hand, put your hand more on your left knee. Now try and keep this left side all the way down as best you can, and start to bring the knees out to the right. As the knees hit the mat, this left shoulder may well have popped up. So if that hurts your shoulder, just lengthen the arm further down. Otherwise, come to a nice gentle twist. So we rotate all 33 of your vertebrae and give them a ring out. So take 3 deep breaths, and if you're finding this hard and your breath goes shallow, see if you can relax into it and really allow the yoga to do its magic. Okay, and then we get to do the other side. One more breath. And bring your knees back to center. Take a pause in the middle. Bring your right arm out. This time I've got to cactus that arm, and as I exhale, I'm going to use my hand to help the knees come over. And as I do that, see how my shoulder pops up, and then I soften it back down again. So for me, twisting to the left there requires more of me. There's more tension there for me. So inquire, get inquisitive for you. What side is holding you back a little bit? Take 3 deep breaths. Try and soften. Notice your breath if you've held it. If you haven't twisted like this for a long time, this might feel quite intense. That's okay. It's reconnecting with ourselves and starting to move again. So you're doing a fabulous job. Take a full breath in. And then again, bring your knees up to center. Squeeze in and hug in. Bring your forehead up. Squeeze tight. This is an element of muscular energy. And then rock side to side on your lower back. If you can rock lengthways and whoop up to a seat. If that seems a little bit much, turn to your side and come on up to a seat. Lengthen your legs out in front of you and then lean back into your arms. Now you're going to need to spread your hands nice and wide, draw your shoulders back. Bend your left leg in towards you. Now flex your right heels, push the heel down into the mat, and feel as you do that. In fact, you know what you could do? You could take a block here and push your heel very strongly, purposefully into that block. And feel, now you've got a gap between your block and the leg. Feel how firm that is. Can you bring the same strength to your left leg, but lift it up? Okay, so this leg is still, although it's lifted, it's not gone limp and loose like that. It's flexed and strong. That's muscular energy. You're having to create that. It's easier when it's grounded, harder when it's lifted. Bring the left leg down to that block, feel that. And then do the same with the right leg. Can you keep the same tone? I've got a little bit of a quiver going on in my legs. Okay. And then switch it over again. And switch it over again. So we maintain this muscular hug even as we lift the legs up and down. Try that now. Tuck in and send your feet up to the ceiling, lay back. Spread your hands, exhale, lower your left foot down to the block, but don't let it actually touch, lift it up. Can you keep that tone to your legs? You can even lift your chin and face like I'm doing and check in, poke, 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 poke. Switch the legs. Don't let it touch the block. Got that, poke, 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 poke. Switch the legs. You're going to go one more on each side, so this is 1. And this is the other. This is the last one. You're doing brilliantly. And then bring the left leg down. Awesome. Stretch yourself out again. That was a little bit of core as well, and it's good to fire up the core. That again connects you with your center. Bend the knees, and again you get to choose. You could roll to the side or whoop, come up to a seat. Plop, pop your block to the side. Okay, and then come on to all fours. Take a moment, a seat on your heels, and as we come to all fours, I want you to spread your hands like this. Okay? And if you had a pen here, you could mark your index finger knuckle here and here. It's like we're trying to press this down to the mat. It's really important that we keep all this index finger around here, thumb. Keep this rooted down. That's a large part of your hand, large part of your bones, to stop you weighing in on the wrists, which can be a common issue, especially when we start out yoga. So if you want to, you could put a dot on each of your index finger knuckles there. Okay, and that's where you're going to press down on the mat. All right, so we're clawing through this like two little crab claws. Try that, two little crab claws, two little crab claws. All right, now how far, we don't want them too close together or too far apart. So if you bring them in front of you on the mat here, I'll turn around, so you're facing the short edge of your mat. Can you see they're going to be lined up with my little fingers lined up to the outer edge of my shoulder. Okay, so a lot of people want to bring it too narrow. Your index finger lines up. They're both parallel, a bit like your magic lines on your feet were parallel. Claw the mat, root the index finger knuckle down. And then inhale, look up. As you exhale, let the spine tilt the other way. So tuck your tailbone, draw in your belly, push the back of the heart up to the sky and tuck in your chin. And as you look at your hands, push the mat away from you, but also draw the hands as if they're coming together. They won't, but you'll feel your muscles turn your bone. Can you feel that again? Okay. Inhale, look up and keep that arm strength. And exhale, round down. It's easy to sort of get lazy here, so push the mat away from you. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. And then take a yoga block and put it between your legs. So although we're focusing on the hands here, I still want you to squeeze in on that block and remind yourself of that block in your thighs. So squeeze to a midline with the block. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, making sure your knees are slightly further back behind your hips. Tuck your toes now, push the mat down, so like you're trying to push your bottom down to your heels, then start to push into your toes so that your knees lift up. Keep pushing, 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 and gently come up. This is called downward dog. Claw through that L shape of your hand and push down so your bum lifts. You don't have to straighten the legs. Squeeze your block. Squeeze your hands to the midlines. Feel the arms work. I'm sure you can. We're going to hold this. See if you can soften your breath. Inhale. Even tone it so you can hear it. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. And then looking up between your hands, shift your way forward to a plank shape. You've still got the block. Your hands haven't changed at all. Now if you had to wiggle your feet back, this is how you want to be, squeeze, and then don't change your feet. So you lift again back to downward dog. So feel the difference. Forward, shoulders stack over the wrists, that's plank. But watch this, we don't want to drop the hips. You want to keep a squeeze on the block so you don't drop the block. Exhale, This is downward dog, so that's like a triangle or a pyramid shape. So be clear of the difference between the two poses. Inhale, high plank, hips are slightly elevated, not actually dropped. Exhale, downward facing dog, and the hands haven't changed at all. Keep the hands there and you come down to all fours. See, your hands didn't change in all of that. Let's try it again. So inhale, look up, cat your spine, cow your spine. Keep hugging the arms to a midline and keep hugging your block. Tuck your toes, push the arms down and forward. Start to lift your knees so you feel some length. Feel the difference between plank and downward dog. Plank and downward dog. Fabulous. Calm down to your knees. Lovely. And then you can release your block. Lovely. Walk your hands around. If you ever do get pressure, which is very common until you learn to claw the mat, it's very common to get pressure there, then just come up and we can do these little fist pumps. You can move your wrist to release that. Feel free to do that at any stage. Don't suffer through any pain, okay? Well done. Place your hands. Downward dog. You'll get to know downward dog. You'll get to love it. Okay, and then looking up, step both feet up between your hands. So it might take a few steps to get there. When you're here, reach around for your block and lean into it. And look how my block is a bit further away from my toes. Inhale, get some length. And exhale, bow. Hands to your hips. Inhale, come on up to standing. Reach and stretch. Exhale, hands to your heart. So notice how I didn't roll up. I used my leg strength, which I hope you're doing too, to bring ourselves up to standing. Now take your yoga block and let's put it between our shins. So the shins are below the knees. Just now we had it in our thighs, yeah? So bring it in your shins. See how it's on this second setting? 3, 2, 1. So it's 2, this medium setting. And give it a good squeeze. We touched on this last week. I'll angle myself so you can see me. So squeeze in. This is muscular energy today. So squeeze in on your block, pick up your toes, and feel, even just standing here, this is work. Do you remember downhill skier? So bring the heels of your hands. Downhill skier, squeeze, option 1. Option 2. Or option 3, like you're holding a block, and again you're squeezing to a midline. Sit your way back and down. In and out. In and out. Inhale, come on up. Leave your arms exactly where they are. We're going to go straight into a second one. Exhale, sit your way down. Feel that squeeze on your shins. Okay, and again, inhale, come on up. Without pushing the hips forward, still keep drawing the hips back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Really good work. Okay, take your block out. And now we're going to set ourselves up for the next couple of poses. The next few poses are all the same stance, okay? So have a block in each hand, and you're going to step your feet wide. Now often beginners will kind of go, oh, I'll just go here, okay? But to get the full benefit, what you need to do is bring your ankles underneath your wrists. So if I lift my arms up, they should be roughly underneath my wrist. So not so far you do the splits, and not too narrow that you do get benefit. And then take your 2 blocks, put them behind you, put them on this higher setting, number 3 setting, right behind your calves. Can you see it's not behind my foot, it's behind my calves. And leave them there, we're going to be using them in a moment. So bring your hands to your hips. So do you remember just now in chair pose, Utkatasana, we squeezed in on the block that was between our shins? Okay, I want you to do the same again. So squeeze in. Now help translate that up. You've got that muscle here, this is your pelvic floor, so lift it up. You'll feel the front of your belly tone and your tailbone kind of flatten. Draw in, your ribs will come down, inhale, and then hinging from the hips. Start to use your, don't bring the hands down guys, bring your torso down. Keep looking up, so don't round down. I want a nice long spine. And see how you have to start to use your leg muscles to cinch in. Okay, so I don't want you to put your hands down. I want your legs to do the work here. Okay, and then inhale, come on up. Turn your right toes to the short edge of the mat. Do you remember we did this last week? Okay, so it feels like we're on a tightrope, heel to arch alignment. This was warrior two, so our legs are still spaced the same way. Bend into your right leg until it comes to a square. Okay, now you might be here, that will be fine, and over the weeks we work in, but don't ever overshoot the knee. Torso turns. Before we bring in the arms, imagine you're hugging the legs to midline. Check in. You're dragging this back foot forward and this left foot backwards, so your inner thighs are working for you. Okay, and as you reach your arms out, don't just reach out. Can you draw your shoulder blades on your back? Turn your face down your right fingertips. This is Virabhadrasana 1. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Big inhale, big exhale. Inhale and exhale. Well done. Warrior 2. Straighten the front leg. You'll see that a lot. Turn the toes in and we'll do the other side. So left leg turns. Okay, so start to bend in, and if week 2 you know you're here, that's okay. But I do want you to feel this sense of cinching in. You can check in, let that go, and you'll feel these muscles go a bit looser. Drag it in and they'll tone up. Okay, lunge in, reach around. Remember to draw the shoulder blades towards each, so it's not just stretching out like you're in theme. Draw in. Find this inner strength. You're doing so well. 2 breaths. Even tone the throat. Inhale. You can probably hear my dog's deep breathing joining us. Exhale. And then straighten that leg. Turn the toes. Awesome. And step in. Hips sway. We're going to do exactly the same thing. So step your feet wide again. Okay, hands to your hips. Turn the toes, your right toes around, making sure that that block, mine just moved a bit, okay, is by the calf. Now this time, the legs are going to stay straight. Newsflash, we've got a new pose coming up called Trikonasana, okay? So contract the legs to a midline, keep them toned, but this time you're not going to bend your leg, but your knee still lifts over the toe there. Inhale, lift your torso and your tummy, reach up, shoulders on your back, and then start to spin your torso around. Start to reach around. Let your left fingertips rest. Don't push, but rest on the shin there. And you might be able to find the block. If you do, try not to lean on the block, and then you might be able to lift your left arm up. Stay looking at your right toes down on the mat there. But maybe if your neck allows, you could turn your face up. But still, although we're in this big sort of open pose, can you feel the legs supporting you? You shouldn't feel like you're about to collapse and fall. Contract to a midline, and then you can trust yourself to open up. If this isn't happening, bring your top hand to your hip and turn your head down. That would be fine. You're still getting the work in your legs. Okay? And then bend into your legs a little bit. Inhale, come up. See how my legs did the work there? Turn the right toes in, left toes out. Awesome again. So straighten and contract to a midline. Reach your arms up, contract to a midline. And then round you come with your shoulders on your back, with that sense of hugging and surety. As you come round, bring your hand to your shin or a block. And take the option of having your hand on your hip and just staying looking at your left toes. But if you can, start to bring more of your left waistline underneath you. Turn your shoulder, reach your right arm up, maybe turn your head. These are all stages of the pose. You don't have to get it all, especially in a beginner's course. You've got a lifetime to do this, guys. Take one more breath in your Trikonasana and then bend your legs. Use your leg strength. You've got such strong legs. Turn the toes in and then come in. All right, wiggle your hips. We're going to do a pose now from last week. So bring your hands to your hips. And even with your hands on your hips, imagine you're squeezing your hips to a midline. Squeeze in. Bend your right leg. Turn from the whole hip out. And then bring your, this is your left leg. Bring your left leg onto the ankle and actually squeeze in. So if I gave you a block there, you could try this. Put a block there and squeeze it so the block doesn't drop away, or a sheet of paper. So there is a sense of hugging to a midline here. You could try that and bring the block up to your calf, or just pretend. Okay, this is as far as we're going, but feel how even in these balances, we got the foundation last week and now we're hugging the midline. Lift your pelvic floor. And then reach the arms out and up to a Y shape. And smile. 3, 2, and 1. Exhale. Bring your hands down. You're going to have to drop the block. All right. Let's try the other side. And you can try with a piece of paper, or you could try with a block, or just do it in your imagination. Okay. So hands to your hips. Hug in, even with your hands. Shoulders on your back. Ka-chunk. Breath in, breath out. Bend your right leg. Turn the knee out. Foot rests in the ankle. And pause. And if you'd like to bring it up to tree, think as if you're squeezing both your left shin and your right foot together. And feel that energy cinch in and support you, and it brings courage to you. Summon it up into the heart. Inhale. Reach up into your tree for 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, bring your hands down, bring the leg down. Inhale and exhale. Well done. Okay, let's try one more balancing pose before we come and take a seat. All right, so pop your blocks to the side. Come back to the middle of the mat. All right, so make sure if you had your magic lines, draw them on your feet here, lined up with your shins. So we don't want to do balances with our feet turned out. Okay, and then put the weight more into your right leg, but still keep hugging the midline. So in other words, as we pick up our left leg, you don't want this to happen in your hip. Boof. Okay, boof. That's not going to help at any part of your spine. So squeeze a midline and then pick up your right leg. Now, as you do this, do you remember when we picked up our legs on the mat earlier? As you pick it up, keep it engaged. So bend it, hold it by the knee. Notice how my foot hasn't gone limp and loose. Boo. Flex it, tone your bone, give yourself this hug of reassurance. Left hand to your hip, and then gently bring that knee out to the side. Still hugging in, turning the hips down. One more breath, and then bring it back and release it down. Lovely, other side, okay? So remember, as you pick up your right leg, don't let the hips sink. Squeeze the midline. Pick up your right leg, hold it just by the kneecap, flex your toes, right hand on your hip. So no loose and limp, flex. So you've got air between all your toes. And then exhale, open the hip out. Can you keep all that going on? If you'll probably wobble and fall over, you could hold a wall or a chair. Awesome. And then bring it back to center. and release it down. So this muscular energy goes on, this gentle hugging in, this gentle reassurance in every pose, even as we come down to the mat. So as you sit down today, take your strap or your dressing gown cord. Okay, bring the legs out in front of you. Take your strap like you're a cowboy. You're going to lasso your feet. Now your feet are going to be slightly separated again. And if you want to know how far, you can use your block as a spacer, putting it in between your shins again. And as we do this, creep your hands down the strap and take a breath. Draw the shoulders back. So see how my arms are not bent. Well, you can see this. We're not. Slide the hands down. Okay, and then take a breath, side body long, and then pull as if you're helping, this strap is helping. Flex your toes towards your face, integrate your shoulders, squeeze the block, and all this integration makes us feel so much stronger. Your joints will love you. If you can, take another breath, and it's like you're launching your forehead to the ceiling. And that is good enough. We don't have to be touching our nose to our toes or anything at all. So just draw here and pull and feel the beautiful length of your spine. One more breath. Pull, pull, pull. Draw your back in and up. Lovely. And then release your strap. Release your block. Bend your right leg. Okay. Again, hold it by the shin, just like you did when you were standing up then, and pull it. Use this hug in. See how my back is rounded now? And as I hug in, it helps me draw in through my back body. So much better for my back. So launch up. And then keep hold of this knee with your left hand. Reach your right hand up and bring it behind you. You could also have it on a block behind you. Bend both elbows a little bit and see if you can draw your way around. Turn more of your tummy button, more of your ribs, more of your chest, more of your face, and twist. If you want to deepen it, this right leg could actually pop over the top. But this is beginners, so don't feel like you have to. One more breath. And use your exhale to unravel. Okay, well done. Bend your other leg, your right leg. Hold it by the shin. See? Inhale. Lovely, much happier spine. Inhale. As you exhale, keep hold of it with your right hand. Reach your left hand up and over. Having on a block is great because it allows you to bend your elbows and really feel the inner body. That inner breath can get fuller. Yes, Sally, my dog, agrees. Twist, twist, twist. Remembering if you want to deepen it, this left leg can pop over the top there. So you twist on round. Lovely. And then exhale, unravel. Well done. So sit up either on your block or on your pillow. I think I'm going to sit on my pillow. Lengthen your legs out in front of you, all right? And cross your right shin over the top of your left. So right at the shin, and then bring it in so they're crossed right at the middle and down. Inhale, lengthen, exhale. Bring your right hand to your left knee, your left hand to your lower back, and twist. Exhale back round. Lengthen your legs out in front of you. Cross your left shin over the top of the right shin. Bend them in. Seat. Left hand to your right knee and twist around. Super. Unravel. Bring your knees up. Bring the inner edges of your feet together. And then curl in. Round in. So you inhale, sit up, and I want you to take whatever seat is comfortable for you. And if that means you're lying down, that's fine. In a minute we're coming to Shavasana, but we're going to try and just feel and move with our breath a little bit more. So move internally with our breath. So find maybe that whispering ujjayi in and out. In. Soften any holding around your eyes or your forehead. Try and soften that. And round your neck and your shoulders. And use your breath like a trance, a hypnotic dance with it. Trying softly to bring you to a place of ease, of connection. So this slightly louder tone, that bit of a hugging in with your breath, reminds you of it. It's like hugging a child. Or one of those thunder coats you can get for dogs that wrap them in, that make them feel secure. Wrap into your breath. Take a couple more breaths. I'm going to be quiet just for a minute or so. And ever so gently, I invite you to lay down on your back and let it all go. So lie down. Remember, in Shavasana, you're taking your feet as wide as the mat, letting the toes relax. Lay your way down. And even here, scoot your shoulder blades towards each other. So feel like a cupping around the back of your heart. Palms turn up. Allow the backs of your heels, calves, thighs and bottom to be supported. Back of your shoulders, elbows, hands are supported. Back of your head is supported. Relax, relax, relax. It might be lovely to stay here. You could put something over your eyes and stay a little longer. Otherwise, now begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Bend your knees. Ever so softly roll to your side. And then gently, gently press into your hands. Come back up to a seat like we started with. Before you rush off, let's pause. I hope you feel that connection to your breath, connection to your body, which then will support you in everyday life. Because this is why we do yoga. This is why we take this and let it help us through our day. So with that sense of being held, a sense of steadiness, very well done. Bring your hands to your heart center, closing with one Om. Take a deep breath in. Om. Namaste. Well done. See you next week.